Okay, let's talk about RJ Harvey, the Denver Broncos' second-round draft pick running back, and a player who the Denver Broncos did take a little bit of heat for drafting in the second round. He was viewed as a reach on the consensus big board. But Sean and George Payton, in their post-draft press conference, said that they really liked Ashton Jeanty, obviously, coming out, and they knew they weren't going to be able to get him. So they wanted to find a running back in this draft class who as closely resembled Ashton Jeanty as possible, and they think they found it in RJ Harvey. They said that there are some traits that Harvey has that they absolutely love. What does the film say about RJ Harvey, and what are the Denver Broncos getting in him? So without further ado, let's just get into it. So what I like here about this first play is that it displays Harvey's patience and vision, which George Payton himself said was one of the biggest selling points for the Broncos on him. And we're going to go ahead and look here, and I am using footage from Fox, so I have to be careful with copyright stuff, so we're going to have to go a little bit slow when we speed it up and slow it down, and we're going to have to pause. We can't play it in real time, unfortunately, because of copyright concerns. But let's go ahead and take a look at this play here. You're going to see that Harvey's almost going to go flat-footed here for a second as he waits for this rushing lane to develop, and he freezes both 5'7" and 2 right there, and then boom, violent burst to the outside. That's something we're going to see from Harvey quite a bit, is that violent, almost jump cut there to the outside. And that's pretty much his patented move right there. And so he waits for a second for everything to develop, and then boom, violent bounce and turns the corner on 5'7" right there. And he's got some excellent burst and explosiveness coming out of that jump cut as well. Again, one of the biggest selling points on RJ Harvey is his vision, and this is a great display of it, and we're going to see some other good displays of it as well in this film study. But really, really nice right here. Wait for it to develop. Boom, outside. Another thing that sold the Broncos on RJ Harvey are his route running and receiving abilities out of the backfield. And even though he doesn't get the ball here, this play is still a display of what he does quite well. So this is going to be a man coverage play on 3rd down and 6. And Harvey is just going to be running a wheel route out of the backfield here. And wheel routes are something that is going to be back on the menu here in Denver, because look at how well Harvey runs this route. He's open right there. He's got a step on this linebacker. Ultimately, this isn't where the ball goes, but still, man, this is a display of something that Harvey can do quite well, is running these wheel routes, and other routes can materialize off of this. You've got option routes, you've got Texas routes, all kinds of other different routes can materialize off of these wheel routes. And again, man, he's got a step on this linebacker. He's open right here. He could get the ball, especially if KJ Jefferson were to drop a dime right here. And NFL quarterbacks are not afraid to make this throw. You see a speedy running back like Harvey one-on-one with a linebacker, and that's the matchup you're taking in the NFL 10 times out of 10. Because even though NFL linebackers are fast, they're not as fast as a guy like RJ Harvey is, and you can see right here that this linebacker, he's getting cooked. If the ball were to go right here, this could be a touchdown, but instead the ball ends up going elsewhere. This is a perfect display, though, of what RJ Harvey brings to the table here. And additionally, we will see another example of a wheel route that they actually hit on, but this one right here I felt was too good to not showcase in this film study. So this one here is a good example of being slippery, fighting through contact, and breaking multiple attempted tackles. So you're going to see here that Harvey gets the ball and right there puts that little juke move on that attempted tackler. And then right here, he's just got to get skinny and slither his way through. Does an absolutely good job of that. 93 is the next guy who's got a shot at him. Makes him miss. And again, does a great job of dipping low here and compressing your body as much as possible. That way, you're just kind of dipping below these would-be tacklers, and that's how you can fight for as many yards as possible here. This is a really good rep. I'll try to play it as close to real time as possible without getting copyright claimed here, but yeah, this is a really excellent rep by RJ Harvey. Again, getting skinny, staying low, And yeah, really, really nice job right there fighting through multiple would-be tackle attempts to get positive yardage on that play. Now, I will be the first to admit that RJ Harvey's pass protection is not fantastic. You can't expect it to be with his small stature, but on this rep, it at least proves that he can do it when asked. So, Harvey here, gonna pick up a blitzing linebacker. And again, he's got a decent anchor and a decent enough pad level. It gets the job done long enough. That free rusher there, I mean, that was, the offense knew that was coming, but KJ Jefferson, it just gives him enough time right there, the protection from Harvey to get this ball off as that free rusher is right in his face. Good job by Jefferson getting the ball off, but this is at least a decent enough rep by Harvey in pass pro that tells me he can do it. He's inconsistent. Again, you can't expect him to be an all-world pass protector with his small frame, but at least right here, this tells me that he can do it. So, good news there for the Denver Broncos. You didn't get somebody like Phillip Lindsay. And listen, I love Phil. I have Phil's jersey, one of my favorite Broncos of all time, but the dude could not pass protect. But at least Harvey shows that he can do it here, albeit it is pretty inconsistent once you get into the tape. So here's that other wheel route play that I was talking about, and this one ends up going for a touchdown. This is going to be on a zone coverage play here for TCU, and it's actually going to end up being a bust. You're going to see Harvey out of the backfield running this wheel route, and this safety here is caught in a bind with this stop route. I don't think that this guy was supposed to sink. That would have blown his zone assignment. So this guy was just caught in a complete bind. Harvey is not going to have anybody within multiple yards of him. And that's just too easy right there. But again, this is something that we're going to see here in Denver for sure, is Harvey being able to run some of these wheel routes. And like I said earlier, the wheel routes will translate to option routes and Texas routes and all kinds of other different things. So this is why Sean Payton really coveted RJ Harvey, is because although he's not an elite receiver out of the backfield, he's a good enough receiver that you can do some of the Joker type things with him that Sean Payton likes to do. Here, I just got another play for you to ease the minds of anybody that might be worried about RJ Harvey's willingness to take contact with his small frame. This is just another play here where he's going to absorb some contact and just not be afraid to keep going, keep those legs churning, and they push the pile there for a few more yards. Again, man, that's something you really like to see, is those physical, violent runs and pushing the pile like that, keeping your legs churning. Of course, that's good work by the offensive line as well, but credit to RJ Harvey for refusing to go down right there, even after initial contact a couple of times right there from defenders by TCU. So that should ease the mind of some in Broncos country, I would imagine. Here we got another display of that patience and vision that we've been talking about, that the Broncos were so sold on with RJ Harvey. And here, had a little man in motion at the snap. Had a lead block there from 44, but you can just see that Harvey is very patient here, waiting for his blocks to develop, and then eventually violent bounce again to the outside. A little bit of a stumble there, but regains his footing rather well. Tries to lay a stiff arm, but doesn't quite have the angle for it. Still, though, fights through that contact and is able to get more positive yardage out of it, man. Another physical, patient, aggressive run here from RJ Harvey. I really like this cat the more and more I watch this film. I think Broncos country is going to fall in love with this style of running rather quickly with him. This is a fun one. So we just got simple little toss play here to Harvey to the left. Turns the corner there on number 4. Not much more to add to this play, but I just thought this was a really fun play. Something we'll see without a doubt here in Denver. Sean Payton likes to run these toss plays, and nice job right there. Again, just completely turning the corner on number 4. And some good burst afterwards. So we're without a doubt going to see that here in Denver with Sean Payton. He loves these plays, and he could easily run a lot of these with RJ Harvey. Nice. Another fun thing you can do with him is line him up in the Wildcat. That's something Sean Payton did a couple of times with Audric Estime last year, and you're going to see just take the snap, up the gut, touchdown, easy money. So in some of these short yardage and red zone situations, maybe we could see RJ Harvey line up at Wildcat quarterback here and just take it up the gut. That's a fun play. Here's another example of RJ Harvey in pass protection, and yes, again, he's not great at it, but he can hold up long enough for the quarterback to get the ball off. And Bo Nix has a really quick release, so that's all we need Harvey to do, man, is hold up long enough for the quarterback to get the ball off. Just keep your anchor and keep your base for a couple of seconds, and you're going to be fine. And again, it's not like he has bad technique or anything like that. He's got a solid anchor and a solid base. It's just he's small, so you can't really expect him to do this on a consistent basis. But when you need him to hold up, when you're trying to get a deep ball off, just enough for Bo to step up and hitch up, Harvey can hold up for long enough to do that. So he's not a great pass protector, but he is a competent pass protector, and that's all we need him to be. Here we got a house call. And this is just going to be a nice, waits for it to develop, one cut, he's gone, adios, touchdown. And again, I wish I could show this in real time, but I can't copyright, but one cut, makes a guy miss, out of here. Love it. And with Denver's offensive line as good as it is, and hopefully they'll get better at the wide receiver and tight end department and run blocking, hopefully we'll see this quite a bit here in Denver with RJ Harvey. Waits for it to develop. Pop. Gone. Alright, so after watching the film, I think we can all agree that there are some things to really, really like about RJ Harvey. His patience, his vision, his burst, his explosiveness, his receiving traits out of the backfield. Those are all reasons why the Denver Broncos coveted him. I had some running backs that were rated higher on my big board, such as Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, but after really thinking about it more and seeing more and more film on RJ Harvey, I believe that this is a pick that really does complement the backfield that the Denver Broncos currently have. They still really like Audric Estime, and they believe that he can be an early down back for them. They also really like Jaleel McLaughlin, but RJ Harvey brings something to this roster that the other backs really don't have. He's heavier than Jaleel McLaughlin, but he's also shiftier, speedier, and a little bit more explosive than Jaleel McLaughlin is. So at the end of the day, man, I can totally see why Sean and George Payton were so obsessed with RJ Harvey and why they ended up drafting him. We'll see if this ends up being the right pick long term, but I'm more and more confident in it the more and more film that I watch. Alright guys, be sure to leave a like on this video as well, subscribe and ring the bell, and let me know in the comments section below, guys, how do you feel about RJ Harvey after watching this film? And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.